What's good? I'm Skip.
And I'm DJ.
And this is DeCypherEd. And today we are going through Rick Ross's fourth studio album, Teflon Don. And before we get into the album, got to go through our general housekeeping. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, boss.
Good to hear, my brother. And if you are new to the channel, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps us in the algorithm. Follow us on our Instagram, DeCypherEd Media Group, all one word. And, just rock with us. But like I was saying, with Teflon Don's his fourth studio album, I think at the time he was under Def Jam, MMG, of course.
Yep.
The title of the album, was in particular, it was curious to me. So I decided to look it up today. I was like, why Teflon Don? Of course,
mob ties and all.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people mention it that's Pyrex. I was finna say some other shit. But the particular reason for the Teflon Don title is because it's the king, the giant guy who was tapped into the mafia. But the other reason was just the Teflon and not sticking to him. But his version of that, he was coming off the beef with 50 Cent in the, I think his baby mama and the, correction officer shit had came out. Yep. So this was him proving to the world that no matter what y'all try to throw on me, it's not gonna stick. Yeah. And in my opinion, he did a great job at just focusing on the music itself and not trying to conflate the two things and fight his way out of it with his raps like Drake did on Scorpion.
I ain't mad at that. Honestly, Drake ain't had no choice but to address a lot of that shit.
Yeah. He could have talked to that man to man instead of. Well,
no, he had to, bro. Story Addy done was too tough.
I think he had already lost. He should have just let it be.
It don't matter. That shit hurt. That man hurt. That man still hurt to this day.
Yeah.
So that he had to respond to that shit.
In the words of the Bronx bomber himself, shout out to him.
Yeah, man. But I like that. I didn't really put it together like that with the whole Teflon Don and the allegations and not sticking to it. That actually makes me like the album even more now that I hear that, that concept on it. I like that a lot, actually.
Put this behind my back. This shit all making all this fucking noise.
But yeah, also too, well, we'll get into that, what I'm about to say. Because even though he got out of one beef, he was heading into another one with this album. But like I said, we'll go to it. Go ahead, bro. Yeah.
A lot of shit came after this that, a lot of gang-related shit. Yeah. But neither here nor there. What were some of your initial thoughts of the album, though?
Initial thoughts back then or initial thoughts right now? After the review?
You can do both.
My initial thoughts,
if they changed.
Back then, this was the time where Rick Ross was really just elevating because I loved how he navigated on the last album before this, Deep in the Rap. I love that album. So the fact that he came right back, because this came out not too long after that album came out. So the fact that he was able to continue elevating with the music, that really just, I hate to say, but it made me kind of proud. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like he can just keep going and making good music. And Ross' discography is one of the best in hip hop, period. He rarely miss when it comes to albums. He maybe got one or two in there.
Yeah.
And honestly, I want to revisit Hood Billionaire, bro.
You're gonna be disappointed, but we can do a little 10-minute
it ain't that bad, bro. It's some songs on there, but it's definitely his worst.
But look at it like this: it was after
Mastermind.
It was after Mastermind and before Rather You Than Me.
Rather You Than Me. Mm-hmm.
So just think about it like that.
Yeah. But yeah, Rick Ross' discography is top tier. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to argue with you because I know what I know. His discography is top tier. And this is one of the ones that really stands out, this album, as one universally, for the most part. When you think of a Rick Ross album, you think of Teflon Don, flat out. So I think this album is very important to his, his career in general. And back then, it was just banger after banger after banger. It was just a lot of, because Kanye was still hot during this time. And Kanye production is on this too. So it was just a lot of, because this came out in what year? Was this
2010? Yeah. Shout out to the Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League was crazy.
Because y'all put both feet and y'all kneecaps in this album, boy. Yeah. Shout out to y'all.
But yeah, that time frame, it was you had what? My Dark
Twisted Fantasy.
Like that, it was so many like big albums that came out during that time, and this came out. It was able to stand on its own, even in the midst of all them great projects that came out. Like it was a really good time, bro. That was a good time in fucking music. It really was. But like my initial thoughts now, like listening to it, like it just stands the test of time. Like I don't get tired of any of these songs. They still hit the same way. I don't skip no song. I like every song on this album. I like some more than others, but I still like every song on this album. And I like the fact that it's only, 10 songs?
11.
I like that a lot.
I wish it was 10. If it was 10, it'd be perfect.
I mean, but I like the 11. Like, it's not, it gave you just enough, but it didn't oversaturate. Like the, what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't too much. It was just the right amount of music on it. So that's another thing that I really appreciate now. Yeah. I didn't really think about it back then. Yeah. But now, like, bam, I got through this shit in 45 minutes? I was like, okay, cool. And then you still had extended songs on here. So even with that, you still had a good length of music because there was other stuff that I'm doing. Like during this time, like now, the period that we're in now, microwavable music in a sense. Attention span is not the greatest, but ultimately with like all the music that's out now with streaming services or whatever, like having an album this good, but I guess this short was a positive for me.
Starting like in the streaming. This album was like, it would have been perfect for the streaming. I agree with that. Some of my initial thoughts, I can't really remember how I felt about it when it came out. Yeah. I always remembered Tears of Joy, Maybach Music 3, and Freemason to a lesser degree. They always stuck with me. Like if I ever like look back on this album, because it wasn't an album that I frequently, and I'm a big Ross fan, but this wasn't an album that I frequently went back to, if that makes sense. Yeah. But whenever I thought about it, it was always those 3 songs. Yeah. But going back and reviewing it for this episode, let me know that this was almost a perfect album. I think it might be a classic. Perfect is just like that level of, like everything is fine tuned. Yeah. I think my only gripe is like one hook on the whole album. I think it showed all sides, pause, of Ross in a limited track time, just like you was mentioning. Like this tape is 49 minutes. And I was close. Yeah, I said 45. He was real close. And he was well, it might be shorter than that because they was counting the 12th track, which was a video of BMF for one of them other shit. So it might be exactly 45 minutes for real. Okay. So he was able to get all of this, like show all of the versatility he needed to in that short period of time. And I think this was the album that detailed his comfortability with his, this was like him at the top of the mountain. And I feel like that's another reason why it was all like hit based. Yeah. For the most part, especially like after the first, which was kind of backwards. Like usually the introspective songs towards the back and the hits at the front. He did it the other way with Tears of Joy, Freemason, Maybach Music 3. Like they're huge records, but you would consider them B-sides. You know what I'm saying? I think he followed the Jay-Z blueprint and took it to another level with like maximizing the B-side. Like he makes all of his B-sides sound massive. You know what I mean?
And that's one thing with Jay-Z. Jay-Z really believed in Rick Ross from the jump. Yeah. And it has showed throughout his entire career. Like if Ross wanted a Jay-Z verse, he pulling up.
Because 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be a hit.
Yeah, every single time. Like I haven't heard a single Ross whole collab that I didn't like.
Yeah, they not, because like I said, they like you put them together, they make big music. So the sound is gonna be huge. It's gonna be super polished because they both really serious about the music, and they're gonna have whatever budget they need as far as production, mixing and mastering, all that other shit. And they both dope at rapping, so it's always gonna be a great look. But this was like it showed how his money, his stardom, and the mindset that he had at that time, like allowed him to craft this. Like what it showed you. like a bird's eye view into the mind that he had at the time of making all this shit.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what are some of your favorite tracks from the project?
My favorite song is Live Fast, Die Young. And it wasn't my favorite song at first until I did the review again. And that shit is just like, every time I heard it, it just got me like amped, because the production that Kanye did on that song was just like crazy. Like when he just let the beat breathe, that shit, it just take me to like a whole nother space in that part. Cause like you can clearly tell like a verse was supposed to go there. But Kanye was like, nah, my shit was just so fire. You just need to let that shit breathe for a second. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of appreciate little things like that. And but yeah, Live Fast, Die Young is probably my favorite song now. It used to be Maybach Music 3. But now I'll probably say Live Fast, Die Young is probably my favorite. And then Freemason, Maybach Music 3, Aston Martin Music. What was that 4? And I'll probably say Tears of Joy.
Okay. And my top 5 is Freemason, Tears of Joy, Maybach Music 3, Live Fast, Die Young, and Aston Martin Music. That's your 5, ain't it? Okay. What are, like we was just talking about the production, and I don't know if I told you that we was gonna do favorite beats.
No, we did. Yeah, you did.
Okay. So well, I'll go first. Some of my favorite beats, and I was able to get who produced each of these songs, which is basically all of the songs that we was talking about. It's a couple different, it's a little variation, but Freemason was produced by Lee Major. Tears of Joy, No ID. Boy,
fire.
You went crazy.
Fire.
You went crazy. I'm trying to see. Maybach Music 3 by Justice League.
Yep.
Number 1 by Danger. That was a fire ass beat, bro.
Yeah, it was.
That was a fire ass beat.
It was
bro.
A turned ass beat, bro.
Yeah. You could tell like that was like New York, Miami, LA, Vegas club scene. Like it's by that time that come on, the niggas with the money is in there like spending tens of thousands of dollars on bottles and shit. Like the stars walk in when that song come on.
And I honestly think Trey Songz on the song is actually a little underrated. Because during that time frame, that was the rapping Trey. Like Trey was low key trying to get his raps out because he was going with the mixtapes that I actually really enjoyed back then. And on this song was definitely a product of one of those environments to where he was like, oh yeah, I can get off on this a little bit.
And he was on fire too. Because if I'm not mistaken, Readyhead came out around this time. Yeah. So he was like peak stardom too. You know, and
I think this was what is that? Last Train to Paris. Diddy Dirty Money. Just around that time frame.
Oh, okay.
Too.
So they was all just cooking. Okay,
yeah,
I got you.
That's what I'm saying. This was such a fire time in music, bro. It was so much shit that was out during this time frame, bro. It was just like a perfect marriage of a lot of different shit.
Well, you know
bro.
what we're gonna have to do.
I know.
DeCypherEd episode 20, probably. Best albums, top 10 albums of the 2010s.
I'm fine with that.
Top 15?
Yeah, top 15.
Okay.
It was a lot that came up.
All right, so that's episode 20. This episode 15, 16 probably. Yeah. So yeah, we had that for your episode 20. Yeah. And the last one is All the Money in the World, produced by Justice League.
Yeah.
The beat was fire. I hated the hook though.
I don't have a problem with the hook.
I hated it. La 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 la.
Was that Ruffy yesterday?
Yeah. It wasn't that it was him, because he came back on Apple of My Eye.
Apple of My Eye.
Went crazy.
Yeah.
So it was just this song. I don't know what the fuck they was doing with that hook. But that's that's neither here nor there.
I don't mind it. It's cool. It ain't bad, but yeah, I mean it's definitely not like I said, I like every song on the album, but yeah, that's not one of the ones I like the most.
Yeah, the verses were hard. Yeah. I just hated the hook. But go ahead, what's some of your favorite beats?
Live Fast, Die Young. That's probably my favorite beat on the album now.
Brother Kanye.
Man, like Kanye, shout out to Kanye, bro. Like, I don't know, man. He just really influenced a lot of my taste in music during this time frame. Like, Kanye's that guy. But yeah, Live Fast, Die Young, Maybach Music 3. Like I said, that was my favorite song at first. And for a long time, like that beat is hard, bro. Yeah. And especially with the beat switch at the end and how Ross come on there. Like, that's crazy.
I was surprised it was Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League was...
I'm just saying the way, because like the other songs that they did on here was like
really up-tempo.
Yeah, just like trap orchestra.
Yeah.
Like that didn't sound like this.
Mm-hmm. Another song I actually like production wise is Super High. Super High is fire to me. I really like the vibe and the ambience of the song. And I like Neo and Ross.
He smoked it
together. And another reason why I really like this song, because I actually heard the remix before I heard the original on this album. Because Wiz Khalifa and Currency was on the remix. And this was during that time when Ross was trying to like sign, because he was out the Wiz, he was out the Currency, he was out the Nipsey. And he was trying to get them all signed to Maybach Music. And ultimately, I mean, they all decided to stay and do their own things, I think, to their betterment. Yeah. Especially for Nipsey and Wiz, for sure.
Currency, too.
Yeah. I mean, I think...
Because I don't think his style would have... I mean, that's another conversation for another day, but I think Ross fit MMG better than anybody else. Yeah. Nobody else fit Maybach Music as good as Ross did.
Yeah. I mean, I think Currency could have benefited a little bit just because he was like, Ross was just so on fire and MMG was just so hot during the time. And I mean, Currency, it was there only if you already known of Currency. Yeah. For the most part, from knowing him from Young Money, Cash Money, and all his other mixtapes. If you already knew Currency, then you knew him. But if you weren't really tapped into that scene, you didn't really know about Currency like that. So that's the only reason why I would say, like, because he didn't really have a big mainstream hit or nothing like that during that time frame when Nipsey did. Well, not Nipsey, but I mean, Wiz did. Wiz had already had a couple mainstream hits, so he was already on the radio doing shit.
Oh, okay, so you're talking about more like front-facing mainstream exposure. Yeah. Oh, okay, I'm looking at it from an artist side. Okay. No, I see what you mean. I got you.
So, I mean, I think Currency, if that would have happened, I think it would have benefited him. I mean, I don't know if it would just like took him to the next level. Hell no. But it would have gave him more exposure, I feel.
Because I think the music that he makes, he's most comfortable artistically making borderline, quote unquote, underground music. Yeah. So like Ross would have put him in a situation where he's going to like push that super, like he would have like, okay, you and MMG, like you got to roll, like re-roll. Yeah. It ain't really no room for diversity to that extent.
Yeah. Wale was the closest to diversity that they had.
And he kind of got caught up, for better or worse, trying to merge the two. Yeah. I think now I think it ended up helping him artistically. Like looking back, you know, the stuff that he learned and how he got to expand his sound and his voice. Yeah. But during that time, it was rocking for him. So I think it would have been negative for him artistically, him being Currency.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, Super High is definitely one of those songs I really enjoy. Like production wise, I think it's really good. Number one, I like number one, and probably what's the other song I would think? Oh yeah, Freemason. Yeah. Freemason. Yeah,
fire. I got a question. Like you brought up MM3 before we started recording, and I had this wrote down already, so I was just like, this is perfect. Like we didn't even have to discuss it. Who had the best verse on Maybach Music 3?
What was that? T.I., Jadakiss, Ross?
Yeah.
T.I.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to go T.I.
My garage is flawless under 100,000. I don't know. I might have to go Jadakiss, bro.
I ain't mad at that.
Because I think Ross had the weakest verse.
Absolutely.
But not weak. He had the weakest.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a fire verse, but it was the weakest on the song. Yeah. Yes.
Like, he went for the big, like, he was like, hey, man, just amp the beat up right here. Yeah. But I think he asked for that before his verse was done. So it was like, he was like, okay, I can mail it in, kind of, sort of.
Steel coat, what he said, steel toe chrome, check my chromosomes. What does that even mean?
It's in my jeans, nigga.
I don't know, man. I ain't like that.
Oh, that's fire. That's a double entendre.
I ain't like that.
That's fire. Like, when you think about it, that's a fire-ass double entendre. Like it's in my genes to do this, but it's also in my genes. Like, Lincoln, I'm still, well, that's fire, bro. He probably didn't mean that, but that's hard, because he was trying to flip chrome and chromosomes. Yeah. But if he really meant it in that facet, that is fire as fuck. But yeah, he just had the weakest verse out of the three. Yeah. T.I., what's the name of Close? I just think the texture of them two guys was different.
I think,
I think T.I. sounded more like Maybach music, but Jadakiss like more like a Maybach rather.
Yeah.
What's the name? Just he stayed Jadakiss.
Yeah.
Like that shit was hard.
I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that. Okay. Never mind. You can
honorable mention Erykah Badu.
Yeah.
She smoked the hook. It went number 4 bars or whatever, but she smoked that shit.
Knows how the story goes. Money and the clothes, they just come and go. But guess who stays the same?
I knew he was finna snap there. But
it's fucking up the ozone, and I keep a dope line similar to Cold Stones.
And another like just, random tidbit. Gucci got busy on MC Hammer. I wish he wouldn't have recorded his verse in somebody's bathroom closet, but he snapped on that fucking verse though. But that was Gucci's sound back then though. Like some of his best songs sounded like that.
And that's what I wanted to get to is that's probably the song I like the least on this album. Only because it sounds so similar to BMF.
Okay. Yeah. And then they come back to back. Yeah.
Back to back. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit, like if you weren't paying attention, you would have thought that was the same song.
Yeah.
And I just didn't really care for that. But during this time, Ross was really hopping on this wave of this particular sound.
Yeah. They could have threw a song in between it though.
Exactly. And like Ross got a couple songs that sound kind of BMF, MC Hammer-ish, like on the mixtapes. And he had, I think his last run at using that sound was on God Forgives I Don't, because he had the 9/11 go down in my 9/11 and these niggas try to hold me back.
Yeah, that was from Rich Forever.
Yeah, well no, that was on God Forgives I Don't too. It was on there.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I think that was his last stint of using that sound because he was definitely starting to wear that sound out a little bit for sure. But that was like my only true gripe with the album is like MC Hammer and BMF being like back to back when them sounded so similar. That kind of irked me a little bit. But like I said, I still like MC Hammer and I do like Gucci verse, but that's just the song I like the least.
I dig it
on the whole album. So.
I dig it. And we was talking about like since we're talking about prediction, while we just were like some of the tidbits from the production side. The production of this album took place 2009 through 2010, and the producers that we did not mention was Clark Kent, The Olympics, Lex Luger,
The
Incredibles, and The Remedy.
Lex Luger did what, BMF?
I'm not sure.
I think he did BMF, and I think he did not number one, but MCM.
Okay.
I think that's Lex Luger.
And since we were talking about like the impact of this album, because this was, for all intents and purposes, the commercial peak of Rick Ross's career.
Yeah, I'm about to say, is BMF his biggest song?
Shit, I
think BMF is his biggest song.
It's possible. Yeah. This album is to date gold certified. It did 176 the first week.
Really?
And 800,000 to date. And yeah.
Wow, so it never sniffed platinum?
Nope.
Damn.
But it went gold in like 4 months.
Okay.
It came out in July, I think July 20th. And by the beginning of November, it was certified gold. So I just think, it kind of slow rolled after that.
But I think for the most part, I think all of Ross's albums, except for like maybe Deeper Than Rap, and I think Hood Baby, I think all of them didn't hit at least gold.
Yeah.
Even during the
streaming era.
Yeah, I think they didn't all hit at least gold.
But that just shows how people say that he's not a big artist.
Yeah.
But you got to be a big artist. He may not be the biggest. He may not be a Wayne, Drake, but like he's somewhere in that space above all of the artists that people may, normally try to put him in the league with. But like, if all of his albums are going gold, I mean, they're all doing at least 500,000 sales. And that is huge, like lifetime sales. And that's huge for any artist, like to continue. Because I've heard artists on stage like, hey, my last album went gold, but this album, well, my album before last went gold. This next one didn't. Well, the one that came out didn't. So if y'all don't buy this next album, I'm getting dropped. I done heard an artist say that on stage performing. So like to have 13 probably
Yeah,
he got at least 10 albums that's gold.
Yeah.
So that's a huge accomplishment for an artist. And that's why he able to buy a fucking triple white mansion. I'm a child of God. You feel me? So,
times
you feel me? So it's like, he's an extremely accomplished artist. And for his music never to necessarily dip throughout this long career says a lot about his music and his standing within the genre as well. So
I was just about to say, his standing, he's able to maneuver and work with a lot of different artists. A lot of people respect him in terms of like actual rapping ability and actually just like contributing to a project or a song. Like, I mean, of course he has his mainstay people that he collaborate with, but for the most part, and this is another thing too I kind of like about Ross, like he does collaborate with a lot of newer, like lesser known artists as well. He'll get them a verse, you know what I'm saying? It don't even be no throwaway shit.
Yeah,
it'll
he
be
get on that snap,
Yeah, so I mean, I really like that about Ross too. Like that just shows like his respect for the craft. That even whether it's a Drake or whoever, you gonna get him a fire-ass verse regardless.
And he be writing niggas verses too.
That's another, that was on Ghostwriter. That was on what?
Rather You Than Me.
Yeah, Rather You Than Me.
He was mad at Birdman at the time, so he was smoking his ass too. But it ain't really no themes and concepts for this one. So
no.
You got any bars you want to discuss? I really don't. It ain't a lot like super duper bar heavy as a project. But the songs that do have bars, it's the whole verse for real.
Like I don't know if I ever told you this, but this Freemason, that's my top 5 favorite Jay-Z verse. Like
ever?
Like ever, yeah. Like this is one of my favorite Jay-Z verses.
Nah, you never told me that. I told you was tripping.
No, I mean, that's just me. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
This my list.
This is list.
This my list.
This is list. Hey, we gotta do one. We gotta do one this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, just that whole Jay-Z verse, but just how he attacked it into like, and I didn't realize you said like it was just kind of, well, I mean, of course it was a freestyle, but just how he was going off Ross in the studio. Like, okay, bet I can use this. It might make my whole verse like addressing this shit. Like, and just how he addressed it. Like, it was just so fire to me, bro.
Like the whole verse is basically a double entendre.
Yeah.
Well, not a double entendre, but it's, like he flipping it. Like he just turning everything that they accused him of on their head. It's like he almost was like playing with the allegations. Like, I'm on my 3rd 6, but a devil I'm not. You know what I'm saying? What he else said. I said it was amazing. Not that I'm amazing. Like he was really he just going back and forth. But I got the verse right here if you want to go through it real quick. Yeah. Well, I got pieces of it.
Yeah.
Rumors of Lucifer. I don't know who to trust. Whole world want my demise. Turn the music up. Hear me clearly. If y'all niggas fear me, just say y'all fear me. Fuck all these fairy tales. Go to hell. This is God engineer. This is a Hail Mary past y'all interference. He without sin shall cast the first stone. So y'all look in the mirror and double check y'all appearance. Bitch, I said I was amazing. Not that I'm amazing. It's amazing that I made it through the maze that I was in. Lord, forgive me. I never would have made it without sin. So he took the time to like lay out all of the shit that not all of it, but just lay out the fact that we all sinning. So like, who are you to judge me on how I sin? You know what I'm saying? But I'm also gonna let you know that the sin that you're accusing me of
is false.
It's false.
It's fuck.
But to throw salt in the wound, I'm gonna continue to play with the allegation to make you fit, to just make you mad. Oh, you think I'm a devil worshiper, huh? You think I'm a proclaimed Freemason. So you know what? Bet I'm gonna make a verse just throwing all of these allegations back on your face and like collect the check in the process. What he said, holy water, my face in the basin, diamonds in my rosary, shows he forgave him. Bitch, I'm red hot. I'm on my 3rd 6. But the devil I'm not. My Jesus piece flooded. This nigga is crazy. Like he just keep like,
I'm a bad motherfucker. It's hoe.
You say you love it. Like, and that's how he ended it. Like bro, just it's okay. I'm that nigga, bro. I mean,
like, just tell me I'm fire, bro.
If y'all niggas fear me, just say y'all fear me.
Like, you ain't gotta hate on me, bro. If you think I'm good, just say that, bro. It's okay.
And then niggas say, I prefer niggas to squeeze the metal on me. Like, hey man, like that's a wild ass accusation. But at that time, I remember specifically at that time, and even still to this day, I mean, but back then, music videos were huge. They were consumed on a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So artists, like at that level was putting out music videos regularly. So the music video that caused the uproar, with this was the On to the Next from Blueprint 3.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So that's kind of what he was just referring to. Like a lot of people was calling him a Freemason and a devil worshiper from the imagery that was placed in the video. How I feel on that ain't nobody business. Yeah. But he wanted to let y'all know that he's not from in his opinion, he ain't no devil worshiper or no Freemason. And ever since then, he's been saying inshallah and wearing 5%er and speaking in Muslim terms. So I guess he trying to make it more apparent now where his allegiances of faith lie. So yeah, whatever.
I mean, people can easily twist and be like, oh, okay, he at the top for real now. He billionaire stance. He just doing whatever he want now because he done made it or whatever. But I mean, honestly, you can say that. Whatever. It don't fucking matter. But honestly, I think it's just really just living in your truth. Mm-hmm. Honestly. And just not really giving a fuck. That's why he just let his fucking hair grow out. He don't give a fuck no more.
Yeah. He ain't got nobody to appease.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it could be twisted that way. But honestly, I don't look at it like that.
And at the end of the day, what he eat don't make me shit.
Yeah.
And I've learned how to, of course, like,
separate the music
from the artist.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you ain't finna be doing the R. Kelly shit and I'm gonna still rock with you.
Exactly.
But as far as what you believe in, as long as you're not like throwing it through your music, if I can listen to it and not feel like my spirit is tainted by whatever's going on, I'ma still, if I really want to, I'm still gonna rock with it.
Right.
But over allegation that's not founded in any truth, I'm probably still gonna listen to your music.
Yeah. But yeah, that's probably my favorite, like, verse, like, bars on the album. But everything else is kind of, like, on the same level of, I just like it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And Ross had some lines from the verse that he did on Freemason that was kind of interesting. Like, because this was, like, the album above all, I think, that he was trying to get something off. Like, I feel like this is what started like his imagery and allusion to like the Knights Templar, like Freemasons, like all of that stuff. Yeah. Like him paying homage to it in whatever way. Like we, so they say we lost the symbols, speaking cryptic code, ancient wisdom, valuable like gifts of gold. I embark, and then I think it skips on. I embark on life. My path is all math. Like this is what do they call it? I can't remember. It'll come back to me, but I understand the codes these hackers can't crack. I understand that folks expect me to fall by community control, violate parole. I won't fail, but a lot of men will. I'm iconic in the field like Solomon's seal. Like he was really like kicking a lot of that type of stuff, especially like on this and on I feel like he was doing it on Tears of Joy to some extent. Like he was like real big on his like Black Panther stuff and his religious philosophical imagery. Like that started, in my opinion, on this project.
Yeah. And it shows up in later projects too.
Oh yeah. He said the Freemasons, freelancers, like that whole sequence was on this verse on Freemasons.
We agents, we masters.
Yeah, free agents, we faster. Big contracts, big contractors. We built pyramids, we masters. Like he was on that. Like a lot of great thinkers and a lot of great inventors. Yes. Like he was really paying homage to those that came before him that, have skin like ours. Like they say that we didn't build the shit, but he like, nah, we built that shit. Just relax. Yeah. We was really like great thinkers and great inventors back then, and we even are now. But the credit is being deterred. Mm-hmm. Well,
it's being whitewashed.
The availability of the credit is being removed from the eyes of the public. So yeah, shout out to Ross for that.
Yeah, it used to be whitewashed, but now, like you said, like it's just being removed entirely. So you wouldn't even know it was there if you didn't already know what it looked for.
But the great thing is, and this ain't got nothing to do with the album, but the great thing is like people, we're living in the information age. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, like you get on the internet one day and you find out the patent for the cell phone, like or the original invention of the cell phone, or like something that made the cell phone available to be created, was from a black man. Like 2G was created by a black man, like stuff like that. So it's just like, I think the first heart transplant was done by a black man. So just saying like we been great thinkers and great inventors and great philosophers and waymakers our entire existence. So Rick Ross is just paying homage to that. And if you really looking, or, you know, you staying available to that type of information, it'll come to you. So shout out to Ross for just taking that time to say that, because he really didn't have to, especially with this type of album. He could have just did another Live Fast, Die Young for real. Mm-hmm. But another song that was interesting to me was the third verse of Tears of Joy and the hook for CeeLo, because I feel like it really connected to what he was saying. And when I mentioned the Black Panther connection, at the beginning of Tears of Joy, it was a speech from Black Panther Bobby Seale. Yeah. And Bobby Seale was one of... You make them move in a desired manner. And Bobby Seale was one of the original pillars of the Black Panther Party. I think it was him. I don't want to mess it up. I think it was him, Fred Hampton, or was it him, Huey Newton, and I can't remember the third guy. But it was those three pillars of the Black Panther Party. Pardon me if you know the third person, put it in there. I know Stokely Carmichael is in there somewhere. Not that Black Panther. I know Stokely Carmichael was in there somewhere, but I don't think he was an original pillar that they was referring to. But he said, last night I cried tears of joy. What did I do to deserve this? I don't know. Not to dwell on the past, but I got to keep it real. I got to represent for Emmett Till. Mm-hmm. All the dead souls in the field. Looking at my Rolex about that time. White man want a problem with mine. And we supposed to be shy. The revolution's televised. Bobby's still on the rise. So with that, he's saying that he and other people of like-minded nature are still celebrating the thought leader in Black Panther, Bobby Seale. So I thought that was dope, because a lot of people don't really know him by name. Yeah. So once you look this up, it's like, oh, okay, that's dope that Ross is even leaning on this. You know what I mean? And just bringing light to a lot of in mainstream information, a forgotten figure that was extremely important during his time. So the hook from CeeLo was goodbye to all the loved ones I leave behind. At least they can't see me cry. And I ask, why, when someone wants to be me, why? Why? Yeah, go on, kill that shit. Thought having everything would ease my mind. If you could read my mind, my God, I'm scarred. I've tattooed tears of joy. So he was saying, like, this journey comes with a series of its own pitfalls and stuff that you have to deal with. So it's like, you know, the Teflon Don, like, you know, you would assume that nothing sticks to you, but on the road to become that person, you get stuff that does ultimately stick with you, and you have to deal with that. You feel like on the road to getting money and stardom and all this other stuff and acclaim, that would be the grand thing that finally allows you to sit back and say, I'm happy. But all of these artists tell you that that's a fallacy. Mm-hmm. It's just more so you find happiness at sometimes in the dream of attaining it, but once you get it, you realize it's not what you thought it was, and at that point is what you make it. And I feel like he was trying to let us know a lot of that in this project with songs like Number One, Super High, BMF, even I'm Not a Star. So I thought that he, while it wasn't the most lyrical album, I felt like he did a lot to invite us into what he was thinking. Yeah. In a more cinematic view. But you got any lyrics that you remember?
I just want to really touch on, like, and I really don't understand why. Like, it had to be something else that went on behind the scenes between Jeezy and Ross and BMF. Because, like, Jeezy really took that shit to heart.
But, Jeezy was like, basically BMF.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is, like, I didn't think the success of that song would rub him the wrong way, because he felt as though he should have been the one to make that song or to get that song big like that, because, like you said, he was repping BMF so hard. And with Ross not having no ties to that and repping it and making the song as big as it was, I think he really got jealous of Ross during that time. And like, well, no, Jeezy wasn't really on no decline, but Ross was definitely more prominent.
Yeah, he was on the way up.
Yeah, than Jeezy was during that time frame. So
at this time he doing songs with Wayne, Drake, like him, Wayne, Drake, Khaled, they was just all just making songs, like huge songs together at the time. So I could see like, but I also think it was more on some street shit. Like I don't know if Jeezy heard something from Meech, or he just heard that he didn't tap in and like pay homage with him before he dropped it. But I think it was more on some street politics shit more so than some industry behind the scenes or like jealousy. I think he was like, nah, bro, like I really been standing behind this BMF shit, and you come up and you make and you know, speaking Big Meech's name, you know what I'm saying, without tapping in with him and getting no grace. It's like you just trying to, you making a song that in a sense come up a little bit more off the name, and I ain't fucking with that. Yeah. Like I don't care if the song's successful or not. You shouldn't have brought that nigga name up without tapping in with him. Because
Jeezy definitely responded because he did a verse over BMF. I forgot which mixtape that was. I think it was, I think it was like 1,000 Grams. Because he had a mixtape called 1,000 Grams with DJ Scream. I think it was on there that he did the BMF freestyle over, but he definitely like addressed Ross on that verse. And then Ross came back with the "We gonna be rich forever." Like that's one of my favorite fucking Ross songs ever. So like I just thank BMF for birthing like that song in general. But I'm glad Ross and Jeezy, you know, they patched it up after a couple years. And now ever since Mastermind, they've been on each other every drop since that point. Yeah. So I just really thought that was just like an interesting just like thing just to look back on. Yeah. Because beforehand they was cool. Both came up under, because Jay-Z both signed them. They both on Def Jam. You know, they pretty much going the same path at the same time for the most part. And just something like that can make somebody fall out with each other. You know what I'm saying?
It don't take much.
Yeah. That's
especially at that limit. Yeah. I mean, at that level, it's the smallest shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we did a pretty good job covering this.
It ain't like you said, it ain't super bar heavy. There's not a lot of things and concepts. It's just fire songs.
Yeah, back to back.
Back to back.
It kind of remind me of, like, it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. But as far as the way it was laid out, just like big song after big song after big song, like it was constructed to be hit after hit after hit after hit. Just a whole bunch of, just an album full of hits. Mm-hmm. If it lined up, it did. But if not, you can't deny it because it's all hits. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how I feel like. And it's like the same length. Yeah. As far as track wise. I think Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy may be over an hour, but just you know, with all the other shit he did on that. But I think this is a great album.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. One of my favorites. Ross. It's not my favorite Ross album. Nah. But it's definitely up there like my top 3 or 5 for sure. No, top 5. It's in the top 5.
It's definitely top 5. Yeah. But it may be an argument for we'll just say top 5.
Yeah, top 5.
As you know, if you are a returner or supporter, subscriber to the channel, you know that we have a segment called Sincerely Deciphered. And in that, we talk as if we're talking to the artist directly, because you never know, we might reach them one day. Mm-hmm. So Ross, we appreciate your diligence and dedication to the craft. This album is a perfect reflection of what a star can be from the streets. You know what I mean? You may not be, you know, everything that that you were, I guess, marketed to be, which doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But what I'm trying to say is, you showed that you can take street songs of this ilk and make them hits on the highest level. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not just, because a lot of people like it. It's like you made beautiful music out of like the trap shit. And then you showed your versatility. You showed you can get on songs like Super High, Number One, and still maintain your identity, which led to you being able to hit a super high level of stardom during this 2 to 3 year run that really further cemented you as an artist to be reckoned with in your era. I do feel like you have one of, if not the most consistent discographies in your era. All time is to be decided, but as far as your era, you undoubtedly have one of the best catalogs in your era. Mm-hmm. You showed that you can get on songs with the biggest rappers, you know, and hold your own, and you showed you can, you know, get on a song as far as a hit is concerned, and hold your own with that. So this album is an ode to your versatility. It's an ode to your ability to be a star when needed. And I think it birthed the super polished version of the cinematic music that you were going to create for the rest of your career. So, hey man, if we can get at least one more great one from you, I greatly appreciate it. But if not, I'm super thankful with what you was able to give us during your time as an artist.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like your ear in terms of how you pick beats and how you construct albums, Ross, is like top tier. Like you pick consistently the best production that I've seen or heard from in an artist of your caliber in a long time. Like I don't know any other artists outside of, well, no, I can't say that because he works pretty much for the most part with the same producer. I'm just going to say to you, I just want to say shout out to your versatility, as Skip was saying, and your ability to make consistent bodies of work that always stand the test of time. And all your albums, for the most part, minus, maybe one or two, it's always been in my rotation in terms of music. And I'll fight or argue anybody else about your discography in terms of actual quality of music. So shout out to you for always being consistent, and just shout out to the music, because the music, it truly just stands the test of time. And I just leave it there.
All right. And that was another episode of DeCypherEd. As always, thank y'all for tuning in. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow us on our social media handle. It'll be illuminated right there. And until next time, peace.